And to be honest with you guys, I didn't want to talk about Lenon like that. Really, you know who I was focusing on the most? I was really focusing on Afro anti-Spengali. That's who I really wanted to come after. It was not Lenon. Lenon Iron to me at back in 2019. I actually thought Lenon Honor was the one that had the most sense. I actually thought that he was the most civil one, the most level-headed person out of the group. Now, Gerald Palmer, we have had a very interesting relationship. We went back and forth. He threatened to want to hurt me, and he was going to pay for the ticket. But what kind of man tells another man that he don't take care of his children, his two daughters? But we're finding out you ain't taking care of your 5 kids. Your honor army. What kind of man?
Anti-Afro Spengalis. Oh, the reference of the retros. You're going to find this one quite interesting. It's one of Dempsey D.Derell's old live streams where he is bashing and trashing Lenon Honor. And of course, he's throwing in some shots about Rev G. And oh God, you're going to hear for yourself how incredibly bizarre and ironic Dempsey D.Derell's words are. Regardless of how you feel about Lenon Honor or what you think of him, it is undeniable that these very words were haunting Dempsey D.Derell then, and they've come crashing through like a tsunami now. Whatever you do, don't touch that dial after you hear buyer beware.
What kind of man gets donations to furnish your home? You mean to tell me you making love to your wife on a secondhand bed with secondhand sheets and secondhand fucking frame and so forth? Matter of fact, he could have been responsible, along with him and E&J, for getting my platform shut down. What kind of man? Because he couldn't take the truth about who he really is that he don't want us to know about. What kind of man goes around on controversial websites looking for certain type of people to engage in activities outside of what your alleged wife is supposed to provide for you? What kind of man? What kind of man befriends another guy that has a certain orientation to go spy on FDMG and then try to low-key get that ripe ass, as he may like to say? What kind of man? What kind of man? What kind of man was under so much pressure because people were finding out the truth of his lies as a lying-ass alleged husband and a lying-ass father? He takes a whole weekend off of YouTube. And then he comes back as if nothing ever happened. What kind of man? What kind of man would just outright lie and pretend that everything is all good? What kind of man would lie on D.Derell and say that I'm alleged funding a criminal enterprise and I'm funding Poetic Flocka to do what he's doing? What kind of man would email me during the week and say he was going to come and participate on the platform to debate me, which he's scared to do, by the way? Then as soon as his Spengali queen says nay, you curl up like a little bitch in the corner. What kind of man? There were people, and some of these people are in this chat right now, are watching, who actually thought I was hating and clout chasing on Lenon Honor. They had the audacity to think that D.Derell, high value man, business owner, actually married on paper, raised 2 grown kids and got one other one. You know, the man that you see going from one office to another? What kind of man uses another man, allegedly, for sexual gratification while allegedly married to a woman? And you dipping and diving in 2 different things. What kind of man? I said this stuff. I said this a year ago. Over a year ago. Everything that is talked about now, I stated it. He's a fraud. He's fraudulent. I called him a YouTube whore. He does anything for money. And he's not shameful about it. He's going to get his hustle on. This brother said, Lenon is like, look, I'm going to make this money. What kind of man has been engaging in stealing, manipulation, allegedly, of others, obtaining benefits from the government unjustly, and then sit here and tell us about hard work and sacrifice and good character? What kind of man? I've always known he was lazy and manipulative, lacked foresight, not very ambitious at all. Because no ambitious man or anyone that really wants to do something with himself would work so little. That's going to be the new mantra for 2021. What kind of man? Same thing applies to Gerald Palmer. What kind of man goes around threatening another man and even offer to buy him a ticket to fight in front of his house? What kind of man? What kind of man, every time you talk about a political group, he feel like he has something to say? What kind of man? So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this baby up because I got to get out of here and get back to the real work in the community. I have to go and see kids that are in the foster care system because, you know, D.Derell works and actually does things that benefit Black children, Black families. You know, I'm not just on here talking YouTube craziness. I have to do some real work. And what kind of man don't want to work like this? He prefer to stay home with his children instead of working for real and making real money. What kind of man does that? It's sad, but it's truthful. These people are crazy.
Is all the information on what it's not. And there's 4 billings.
When people heard Tom England's story about his Medicare account being fraudulently billed,
that's my story right here.
They could relate.
I'm one of the ones that was hacked. They had to end up changing my Medicare number on account of it.
Every one of these people shared with us how their Medicare accounts were billed for supplies they never ordered and often never even received.
The company billed $8,200.
For England, it was for urinary catheters.
And I'll even show you like the packaging that came in the mail. Like I wrote all over it, unauthorized scam, return to sender.
For Paula in Winfield Bridge, it was for COVID test kits. The retired couple says their Medicare accounts were billed 6 times by multiple Texas companies that they had no dealings with. So we went to go find these companies. And if you look inside here, you're going to see an empty office. The company, Lone Star MedLab in Plano, appears to have up and left. At the address for Peak Health Diagnostics in Richardson, the new tenant said the company moved out a year and a half ago. So did Trident Diagnostics, another company that billed the Bridges accounts, which happened to share the same address.
But what bothered me is that someone was out there using innocent people's account numbers and information and getting $100 a kit from people all over the United States and walking away from it and not being held accountable or nothing.
Last summer, as the result of reported fraud, Medicare put a temporary halt on all payments for COVID test kits. Since then, Medicare says new safeguards have been put in place.
We are here today to announce the results of a 2-week nationwide law enforcement action.
Last month, the U.S. Justice Department announced it had charged 193 people in a nationwide crackdown on healthcare fraud schemes. The various alleged schemes totaled more than $2.7 billion in false claims. But that's likely just the tip of the iceberg, because none of the companies that these viewers told us falsely billed their accounts were among those who were charged.
I hope these people are prosecuted. I'm hoping to God that we can find them. Seriously, this is a big, big thing.
Well, Medicare told us it cannot talk about any specific investigation. It did tell us it has identified 11 companies behind nearly $3 billion worth of billings for just urinary catheters. Medicare did say it has prevented much of that money from reaching those companies. Also, Medicare last summer put a temporary stop on all payments for COVID test kits until it could get a handle on all the fraudulent bills. With the I-Team, Brian New, CBS News, Texas.
So if you think your Medicare account may have been fraudulently billed or something just seems off to you, the I-Team really wants to hear from you. You can email them at iteam@ktvt.com.